And
Oh,
The keys are somewhere.
okay, we'll find him eventually.
You need the gold. Ray did this to my periodic table.
That's okay. I got a few hundred more copies over there.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
I have 50 million right here. That is you. Even the bottom thing that is not even written on that I took.
I love Daddy. I'm sorry, but that ain't weird. I love the smell of it.
All right, Brianna, Alexa, grab your periodic tables. We'll go do the test that you missed yesterday. You may need a calculator too, because you're going to be doing a little bit of math on it. And then bring something to write with, obviously, and we'll go get this taken care of right away.
Mr. Brandon, I had to get a new computer charger.
Why? That one I thought you said worked.
I plugged it in for homeroom.
It didn't work anymore?
No.
Okay. Well, that happens sometimes with electronics. Try not to electrocute it anymore.
You're going to say Alexa Q?
I got
Really?
You're a little personal in his building.
Yeah, it's
There are 6 periodic tables right here.
It's like my best. Yeah.
7 if you include the bottom one.
That's so
I'll be so serious.
So when I currently have 8. 8 periodic tables.
For real.
I have 8 periodic tables. But they could give it a them, but I'm not because of the notes. 4.
I feel I left to touch my
They got 4 of these.
nothing.
That's all we can eat, solid.
I do
I got this many of this and this many of this that I had last trimester.
All right.
Periodic table.
All right. Well, we could start over again this trimester,
I
Zoe,
know.
or this unit.
So this is, I'm wrapping up periodic table here from your classroom. And I only have like 3 solubility tests that weren't even used, but I'm not even written on, but I took it.
You're just gonna take on.
I hope so.
Come on, right here. Yeah, right there.
All these periodic tables are basically the same.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just returned your tests for you so that you could take a look at them. I will go back and give you the other part in just a second. I'll hand out the paper part. But now you have your tests back and you can take a look at those, ladies and gentlemen. Again, please remember when you're looking at the ones that you had to type in an answer, I had to grade those. So it may still have a red X at the top. You have to go over to where it says the points out of how many to see how many you actually got on there. Okay? And if you got all the points, you obviously got it right. And if you did not get all the points, there was something wrong with it. So keep that in mind. Okay? All right. Ethan?
Yes, sir. You got the right Ethan?
I hope so.
All right.
Victoria?
Oh, honestly, I was too full. That's right.
Well, here's the thing. There was a whole worksheet to practice this part of the test. And again, from this class, I think I got 2 of them. So
I know,
it doesn't surprise me
I was
sometimes
looking on
when
mine.
you get a grade on an assignment when, okay, you didn't bother to even try to practice it. So
I do proud of it.
we'll see how you did. We'll give it back to you, and then we'll talk about it. And hopefully you won't make the same mistake on the final exam.
I just realized what I did wrong on this. Yeah, me too. I just kind of. I had a major brain fart, my guy.
You had a major brain fart. I hate it when my brain farts.
Same.
That just hurts like heck.
It does. It hurts my brain like heck.
I'm going to show you the answers in a minute.
I don't know when that.
Please.
I'll show you.
I know I got the time code wrong on it.
Okay,
That's the only code I know I probably got wrong.
Zoe,
Zoe, don't need to tell the whole class.
there you go. Yep. You'll take a look at it. I'll show you the answers. Okay? And we'll go from there.
Which one is?
All right.
That's which one is.
So there were two different versions, ladies and gentlemen, depending on if you had the green copy or the white. But Jimena, I think you had the original copy. So even though yours is white, it would be just like the green ones that I gave out. Okay? So, yes, Zoe?
One you must have done because that's supposed to be 1/8. 1/8.
Okay. Can you wait and see the answers? Because if you got anything wrong in the column,
Right,
the whole thing is wrong.
right.
Okay? So let me show you the answers. Okay? Those who had the green version, ladies and gentlemen, these are the answers to your thing. Okay? So if you had the green version and Jimena, even though yours is white, these are the answers to yours. And that isn't going to fit. So we'll do one at a time. That's fine. Okay? Now, the key to this one, ladies and gentlemen, again, the fraction remaining column stays the same. So Zoe, you're asking me about this column. The question is, and you don't have to answer this out loud, did you start out with 1 out of 1, then do 1 out of 2, 1 out of 4, 1 out of 8, 1 out of 16, 1 out of 32? Because if you didn't, you got the column wrong because the whole thing is worth 1 point. So you have to have all these numbers in this order. Okay? For the half-lives, you had to start out with 0 and count down, 1 through 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now, either version of the test, those are the answers. Whether you had the green or the white version for those two columns, those are the answers. Okay? Whether you had white or green. But if you had green, your half-life was 6 weeks. So it was 0, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. And we still had some who went 0, 6, 12, 24, 48, 96. That column doesn't double. You add by that same amount each time. Hello, Helen. Okay? So that's what you did there. Now, here's the other thing that was tricky about this. And it wasn't that tricky, but it says a sample has a half-life of 6 weeks. That's where we get the time. And your sample size is 0.625 grams after 24 weeks. Complete your table based on this information. So you don't start out with the 0.625 grams. That goes down here where you have 24 weeks. And then you work your way up to how much sample size you began with. Some of you put this in at the top and went down, but that wasn't the question. And actually, ladies and gentlemen, this was a question taken right off of the homework assignment. Literally, word for word, copied and pasted and put in there.
Both of these?
Okay. Both of these. What do you mean both of these?
Like both of the green and the white?
Correct. I'll show you what I did with the white in just a second. Okay, so how much sample size did you begin with? 10 grams. How many half-lives have you been through at 24 weeks? You've been through 4. So you got 1 point for completing each of these columns and 1 point for each of these answers. Now, if you had the white version of the test of that question, I changed the sample size from 0.625 grams to 6.25 grams. I changed the half-life time to 4 weeks and after 16 weeks. Your answer came out in the same spot. Okay? Your answer came out in the same spot. But the difference here, again, this column and this column were the same. Here, instead of 0, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, you have 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. And over here, after 16 weeks, instead of 0.625, you had 6.25. So you literally did the same math as somebody else, just with a little bit bigger number. Actually, a number that had the decimal point slid 1 place. You then, if you had the white copy, would have began with 100 grams because we began with 10 times more sample at 16 weeks. and you still went through 4 half-lives. So that is what your answer turned out to be. Questions, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. You do have the other part online. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to stress to you, homework in this class is completely your option. Completely. Does not hurt your grade. Does not help your grade as far as the actual homework assignment. But here, if you had done the homework, I'm sure it would have helped you on this test. Because again, this problem was taken right off of your homework, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, treating you as adults, you get to college, your professor, your teacher, your TA, whoever is in charge of the class is going to assign you a bunch of homework problems. You do them or you don't. Someday, you don't go to college, your boss is going to give you a bunch of work to do. You do it or you don't. But your choice, your repercussions. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions, please let me know. I will be happy to answer them. The same way, if you think I graded something wrong on your test, please let me know. There you go. Okay? And I will go back and I will check it, because I will admit sometimes I do make a mistake. Sometimes in the grading process, I put in a number, like 2 out of 4 points. And if I spin my mouse, it sometimes changes the amount, the number on there. I know it's a weird thing. So please, double check your test and make sure. The other thing that you should understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that all of this material is going to be on your final exam again. Okay?
So would we have another paper copy like this for the final exam?
Probably not, no. Okay, probably not. But those same ideas and concepts of half-life and things like that are going to be on your final exam, just so you are aware.
So we're not doing like a problem again?
So we're not doing like a problem again. I don't know what you mean
Like
by
a problem
like
that?
this. Probably not, because your final exam will be totally on the computer, ladies and gentlemen, because number one, that makes it easy for me to grade. Number two, you'll have your grade probably before you leave class. Well, you will have your grade done before you leave class that day of your final exam. Alex.
I'm in a good spot right now.
Jimena? Many of you, I mean many of you, are in a really good spot with your grades. Why? Because you're doing the things that are asked. I went through your grade reports, ladies and gentlemen. I think there are only a couple people in there next door taking the test have missing things as far as the class goes. Most of you have no pink highlighter on your grade report, except for at the top where it's highlighting your current grade. The reason for that is you guys are doing your work. This is not rocket science, it's chemistry. But what I mean by that is the students who do their work in my class pass my class. Students who don't. I sent an email out the other day to a parent. They contacted me and said, on the report card you put in danger of failing, conference requested. Why do we need to have a conference? I said, well, if you look at your kid's grade, they got a 75% going in their test grade. That's a solid C. They got a 75% going on their quiz grade. That's a solid C. They got a 0% on their labs. 0. Hadn't turned a 1 in yet. And because of that, they were failing. If they would just turn in those labs, they would be at a C, possibly lowest possible would be a D. But by not doing something, ladies and gentlemen, it hurts your grade immensely. You guys are doing things. I appreciate that. Your grades are good. Here's the other thing. I will tell you this. If you go into the final exam with a passing grade, the final exam will not fail you for the course. Will not. However, if you go into the final exam with an F, you're going to need to do well on it to pass the class. But if you go in with a C, even a D, I will not let the final exam fail you. Now, if you have a C going and you bomb the final and it lowers you down to a D, it lowers you down to a D. But if you're at a D and you fail the final exam, I will not let it fail you for the class. Okay? So it is very important that in this final unit, ladies and gentlemen, you do what needs to be done. You continue the progress that you have been doing so that you have a passing grade going into the final exam and you cannot fail the class. Okay? Because there is no completion for this class. There is no summer school for this class. Okay? This is an upper level science course. You've either passed the class and are done with it, or you have not passed it and you are not done. Okay? So, with that being said, take a look at your grade reports, ladies and gentlemen. Up at the top of the grade report, I have highlighted your current grade, which is different than the grade that is up at the top that says the semester or the final grade. That was the grade that was on the report card that I had to fill out last week. The one that is the progress grade below it is your actual current grade as of right now with the test in there. Okay? So again, if you are happening to miss a lab, if there is something highlighted, get it turned in, get it to me. I will still grade it and give you credit for it. Okay? And here's the big thing. Zeros kill your grade. Absolutely. Now, if you look at an assignment, the worst you've gotten on any assignment you've done for me, including quizzes or tests, is a 50%. Even if on a test that's out of 50 points, you wrote a 20, I gave you 25 out of 50. I will not let you get below a 50% on an assignment that you complete. However, I am not going to give you 50% for doing nothing. So if you have a lab missing, it is in there as a 0. That is hurting your grade. Now, granted, a 50% may lower your grade, but not as badly as a 30% or a 20% or a 40%. So that is the advantage that I give you. I do not let any grade below a 50% on an assignment that you do for me. Okay?
Yay,
So, well, it's been that way all year long. So, questions? Any questions on the grade reports?
No.
All right, ladies. Go ahead.
When do we have our unit test, the cumulative one, the big one?
The final exam?
Yeah.
Final exams are June 5th and 6th, or 6th and 7th. So I'm sure I will get the...
Ours will probably be the 6th.
Yeah, first hour will be the 6th at 7:30 a.m. I was looking to see if I had a copy of it printed out already.
I don't think we've gotten the answer.
No, it's probably in the... it's probably online. I'll try to find it and get it for you so that I can post it. But it's the same schedule as always, which is first hour, third hour, fifth hour on the 6th, and on the 7th, 2nd, and 4th hour. Okay? Finals will be about an hour and a half long, 15-minute passing period in between. So you guys on June 6th, you will have your final exam. Okay? Also, probably earlier that week, June 6th is like a Thursday. So earlier that week, probably on either the Monday or the Tuesday, we'll take our Unit 8 test, the test for the unit that we're about to do. After that test, everything will be in the grade book except your final. So the day before the final, when we're reviewing, I will call you up. I will show you your grade. I will put in a 0 for the final and show you the worst grade you could get in the class and show you what you would need to get back to a B or a C or whatever grade you have. Okay? So we'll go over all that stuff before your final exam with you. Okay? And all I do is that to let you know, okay, maybe for my class you need to get a 48 on the final to get your C back, but you can't get any higher than that. Well, maybe in math class you need to do really well to get a certain grade. Well, spend your time studying for math instead of studying for science. Okay? But again, I will let you know that. Okay? So, any questions on your grade report? Okay, final unit, ladies and gentlemen. Just a reminder, get done what needs to be done before it is too late. And again, If you have no marks other than the pink highlighter at the top of your sheet, you are fine. You've got everything in. But again, don't slack off in the last unit, okay? If you decide not to take my Unit 8 test because, oh, I'm doing good in the class, and it drops you down to failing, now you can fail the class, okay? Now you can fail the class. So, again, do what needs to get done. All right, today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start an activity that's going to take us a few days to do, okay? I gave you a new Unit 8 EISN. So if you would, ladies and gentlemen, please open up your computer and get to the Unit 8 EISN. Okay? And what we are going to do, and also please take out your periodic table for just a minute. Okay? We're going to start going a little bit more in depth into the periodic table, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we have already told you things about the families, the metals, the non-metals, things like that on the periodic table. We've looked at the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons. We're not doing that in this unit, okay? We still know about those things, but we're not looking as in-depth into those things, okay? We're going to look at the periodic table as a whole, and we're going to look at some patterns and trends and things like that on the periodic table. So the first few slides in your EISN, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be our periodic table project. So you are going to be putting things into these slides that we are going to be doing, okay? So you're going to start by selecting 9 elements from the periodic table that must meet the following requirements. And I will explain these in just a second with my periodic table so that you can understand this better. You are going to do 3 different sets of 3 elements that are in the same families. Now, which way do families go on the periodic table?
Like this way.
They go up and down. Okay, and by the way, we are going to ignore groups 3 through 12 because they're not in the second period, they're not in the third period. We cannot pick hydrogen and helium for this activity because there are only 2 elements in that first period. So you are going to randomly pick 3 elements that are in the same family. Okay? You can pick any 3 elements that you want, but we can only use groups 1 and 2 and 13 through 18. So I will show you a little bit more on this. Let me finish. So we are not going to use the transition elements. But the elements must also be in 3 different periods. So we are going to select 3 elements. So let's say we select sodium, rubidium, and francium. Those could be the 3 that you select. We are also going to select 3 different families for these elements. Okay? So we're going to select 3 different sets of elements that are all in the same family, and they're all in the same 3 periods.
So we're doing 9.
So we're doing 9. Very good. Okay? So let me kind of show you what I mean on my overhead here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Let me show you this. So here's a picture of our periodic table. So let's say, ladies and gentlemen, I select a group or family, the alkaline earth metals, family number or group number 2. These here. That's one of the families that I select, and I don't like that, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put just a mark above. You don't have to do anything yet. I'm also going to select the carbon family, and I'm going to select the halogens. Okay? Those are my 3 families that I'm picking. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 3 different elements within that family. So let's say I select beryllium. I select calcium, and I select strontium. You can randomly select any 3 elements within the family that you want. But now when I go to the carbon family, I have to pick carbon because I picked beryllium, and they're in the same period. Do you understand what I mean by that? So now I also have to select germanium because it's in the same period as calcium, and I have to select tin. Then I go to my halogens and I have to select which ones? I have to select fluorine.
Bromine.
I have to select bromine.
And iodine.
And I have to select iodine. Okay, so this is what I mean. There are 3 elements that are each in the same family, and there are 3 elements that are each in the same period. So that is how you are going to select your 9. Now, before you start selecting, I would like to point a couple of things out. One of the things that we are going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we are going to look at some trends. A trend is a pattern. We are going to look at atomic number. We're going to look at valence electrons. We're going to look at melting point. We're going to look at boiling point. We're going to look at a couple of things that you get to choose. Okay? You get to choose their properties. I'll show you where we'll find all this and everything else. Okay? But what I will tell you is if you select something in period 7, these are man-made elements, ladies and gentlemen. There is not as much information about these elements down here as there is about everything above them. So you may, I'm not saying you can't use these, but if you do, ladies and gentlemen, you might not find numbers that you are looking for, and therefore you may have to put down that something is unknown. Okay? If you want to avoid that, go only as far as element number 86. If you stay in period 6 and above, you will have no problem finding the information that you are going to be looking for. Some information you can find about these, some you may not. That's all I'm warning you about. Okay? Now, in a minute, you're going to select your 9 elements. Now, before you go any further, or before you start looking some things up, if you're not 100% sure that your elements are all in the same periods and the same families, call me over and I will check them with you. Just to make sure, because if you were to accidentally do chlorine instead of bromine, it's going to throw off everything that we're going to do later on. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yes.
So when we're going to be looking for patterns, we're going to be looking for patterns of things that are in the same families and patterns of things that are in the same period. So if you have an element that doesn't fit, that isn't in the same family, or you do oxygen instead of fluorine here accidentally, that's going to create a problem for you later on. That's going to create a problem with your data. You're not going to see what we want you to see. Okay?
I'm keeping these elements for the whole time I stood.
Hold on. So, now, correct. So, I'm sorry, Kayani, I heard what you were saying, and that is correct. We are not using anything in here. Okay? We're not using any of these. And in reality, ladies and gentlemen, we're not using any of these on the bottom. Okay? So these on the bottom we're not using. And my suggestion would be to think long and hard about using anything in period 7, because you may not find all the information you are going to be looking for. I'm not saying you can't, but again, it may lead you to a little more difficulty somewhere down the line. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Now, in Google Classroom, ladies and gentlemen, there is this atomic trends, tables, and graphs. Please open that up. And when you do, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing that you will come to is a table that looks like this. Okay? Here is where you are going to put your element symbols for the 9 elements that you choose. But you need to put them in order by atomic number. So the one that is in the upper left-hand corner is first. So in my table, again, this one, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be first. This is going to be second. This is going to be third. then this is going to be fourth. Now, the reason that you are doing that, ladies and gentlemen, is because when we graph things, the graph is automatically set up to grab the first, the fourth, and the seventh piece of data to plot them. The second, the fifth, and the eighth, and the third, the sixth, and the ninth to show you what they're going to do together. Okay? So the important part here, ladies and gentlemen, on here is that you put them in the order that you did them, starting in the upper left-hand corner and just going across, then down and across, then down and across. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do this first. Let's get this done. Right now, again, select any 9 elements that you want, put them into here. I'm going to come around. We're going to make sure that when you select your elements, you have met the criteria so you don't end up with trouble further on down the line. Okay? So let's get that done first. Because believe me, when I say the instructions are clear to me, they're clear to me, but I know they may not be completely clear to you.
I'm trying to highlight.
No, you can pick 3, 5, and 6. You can pick 3, 4, 5. Start by selecting one element. Pick one element. Put a check mark by it. Okay. Now pick another element in the same thing. And one more. Whatever one you want. It's your choice. Okay. Now pick another group, either here or over here. Okay. So over here in group 14, you've got to select carbon because you selected lithium, so put a check by it. Then because you selected this one, you're going to have to do that one. And then because you selected this one, you're going to have to do this one. And now pick one more group. Okay? So don't let me read that match up all the way across. Don't let me go. There you go. So now put those in that table, just the symbols, L, I, C, and E. And then do K, G, E, K, R. Then the second and the third. Yes, perfect. Perfect. Nope, you need one more period going across. So you did this one and this one. Which other one do you want to do?
We just did.
Okay, so now select the same 3 in here that you did over here. Okay, those are your 9. Start putting them into that
So
table.
then I go from this one
To that one, to that one. Yes, that one, yes.
Helium because there's only one with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you start with the one that's the highest up and to the left. So Mg, Al, Si, Ca, Ga, Gd, Sr, In, just in that order. And remember, you're going down here. Okay. So like Mg goes first, then you go Al, and you go Si, right?
Yeah, then you're gonna put 3 going down.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Don't worry about that right now. Just get your elements in there because then I'll show you where you can find all that information. Okay?
Yeah.
The information that you're going to be looking for in a minute, I'll show you where to find it, but we just want to make sure you pick all your 9 elements and get those correct first. Good?
That was difficult.
Perfect.
Okay, so then
Thank you.
take those 3. Now
Really
pick
good.
Okay.
from
Sure.
these.
Three on the
Questions?
bottom. We haven't picked it.
How we doing? Yeah.
So pick aluminum, and you have to pick silicon, and you have to put 2 phosphorus.
Christian?
Use the same room.
I think you got rid of these. Or nitrogen. Yes, you did.
Okay. How we doing? Okay, so you got B,
Yeah.
E.
Someone deleted nitrogen. We need that one back.
Okay. Okay, so let's keep typing. So your last one is NE, right? So it's NE. Now you wanted this one? So MG. Then you wanted S, sulfur. And then you wanted AR.
And then it should be aluminum.
Capitalize the S and sulfur.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Okay.
SI.
So then your next one is Ca, Sc, Kr.
So we said dorm.
I got it.
Okay.
Hello.
Basically,
Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, Mrs. Teacher.
Hi, Mr. Student.
and then
How are you?
right.
Great.
That's good.
What'd you bring me?
I have this like cup of Murphy's coupon that I never use. Maybe.
So you're just giving it to me?
Well, you can't eat that in my house, so.
Papa Murphy's is okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, there's no expiration date or anything on it.
What?
No,
How long have you had this?
forever. But I bet it'll still work.
Yeah, but I think they're supposed to take them off when you use it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 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 Thank you. Okay. I don't know what that means, ladies and gentlemen, when people bring me a coupon for pizza.
I mean, I don't know what they're saying. I mean, I really don't. Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
You got your mic. Okay. Oh, where's? Oh,
I have the whole thing here.
yeah, I know. But why did you go? Okay, stop. Li, then B, then N. You did the order wrong. Li, then B, then N.
I have to do
That- Correct.
Okay.
So change that.
Okay.
So what happens is, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at it, the ones that are in the yellow boxes should all be in the same family, going up and down.
Yes.
The ones that are the first three should be in the same period going across. And then the middle three should be in a different period, and then the bottom three should be in the third period. That's the reason that we have to put them in the way we do. Okay? Questions? All right. Now, where you get this information from is 100% up to you, ladies and gentlemen. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I would do if it were me, ladies and gentlemen. I would open up a new tab, and I would do ptable.com. I like this website. A couple of reasons. You do not have to use this. You can look it up however you want to look it up. But here's the one thing I will warn you about. If you are looking up information and you are using different sites for different elements, occasionally different sites will use different units to describe the same thing. So, for example, the first thing that you are going to look for, ladies and gentlemen, according to your table, is the atomic radius of your atom. Now, I have a unit here of picometers. If you go to a website and yours has a different unit, you will have to change this. Okay? But if you use different websites, one might be in this unit, one might be in a different unit, one might be in another unit, and then we have a problem because it's hard to compare numbers that are not in the same unit. So we need these all to be in the same unit. So that is why I like this ptable.com, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So let's say you pick the element, and I'm going to pick one that none of you could have picked. I'm going to pick vanadium. Okay? So over here on the side, ladies and gentlemen, over here on the side is a whole lot of information about vanadium. Yes. You bet I can. And I'll even put it in, I'll try this for you too. This is the way I like to look at this periodic table. I like dark mode, but if you don't, that's fine too. But over here, all of this information is here for you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, do you see where it says radius calculated?
Yeah.
That is what we are talking about for the atomic radius. So if I come down here, ladies and gentlemen, and I click on that, there is my number, 171 PM or picometers. So that is the radius, the size of this atom. That is the number that I could type into that table now. Okay? If I pick a different element, cobalt, I come down, and again, when I'm off of the box, you'll notice it's showing me 1 point something. But when I bring my cursor down onto it, now I can see that whole number, ladies and gentlemen, and I get 152 picometers. So this is where you can find that atomic radius. And it will show you for every element up here. Now again, if you decided to do the 7th period, and you click on something and it doesn't give you that information, there's nothing I can do for you. Okay? Nothing I can do for you. Okay? So, here's what you're going to do, and this is going to take you a little while, and we're going to take some time. You're going to give me the atomic radius of each of the elements you pick. By the way, please listen carefully. Because we are graphing this information, only write the numbers in here. Do not put the PM after it. If you do, you will not be able to graph this information. Google Sheets and Excel can only graph numbers. It cannot graph numbers and letters. So up here, we're going to put the unit. But down here, we're just putting the numbers. For atomic mass, ladies and gentlemen, where can you find the atomic mass?
On the periodic table.
You can find it on that periodic table, the one in front of you. You could go to that P table, any periodic table. The atomic mass is the decimal number at the bottom. By the way, what unit is it?
AM for atomic mass.
Close. AMU.
AMU.
AMU. Now, atomic number, ladies and gentlemen, you can also get off the periodic table. You do not need a unit. Why?
Because it's the number that it's located.
Because it is a number. There is no unit to it. By saying atomic number, it is a counted number. It's not something that you would have a unit with. Remember when we talked about valence electrons?
Yes.
So again, you're going to do that. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you get your choice of any 2 other properties that you want to do. Let me show you where you can find those on ptable.com. So again, ladies and gentlemen, all right, I go back to vanadium. Okay. Here's my atomic mass. Here's my atomic number. So again, everything is here if you want to use this. For valence electrons, ladies and gentlemen, you see here where it says energy levels. And it has 2, 8, 11, and 2. The last number listed here is the valence electrons. The last number is the valence electrons. So when you go to any element and you look at these, the very last number, ladies and gentlemen, is your valence electrons. Now,
The energy level. Yeah.
the very last number in energy levels. Yes, thank you. The very last number in energy levels. Okay? Now, your last 2 choices. Take a look here. Electronegativity. You could use that for one of them. Electronegativity is the ability of an atom to attract and hold on to an extra electron. It's a number. We can graph it because it's a number. You want to use melting point. The temperature at which this substance would go from being a solid to a liquid. Or you want to use boiling point. A liquid to a gas, yes.
Can we do hardness?
You can, but here's what I'm telling you. For some of them, you may have a hard time finding this. Because hardness represents it being a what?
Solid.
Solid. Okay? So let's take a look at xenon.
My bad.
Not available for xenon. Now, that doesn't mean you couldn't put down Na, that it is not available. But again, some of these things, modulus, bulk, Na, okay? I'm not even sure what they mean by this. Okay? Electron affinity. You could use that. Again, ionization, the first ionization energy. You could use that. Anything that gives you a number, ladies and gentlemen. Here's density. Here's conductivity. Here's specific heat. Don't use abundance in the universe, though, because all abundance is how much of it is there in around. Okay? So don't use abundance and don't use the date that it was discovered, because that's not necessarily a pattern that we're looking at. That was just when it happened to be found. Okay? So you are going to pick two other categories that are going to be your choice. But when you pick them, change what this is. Don't leave it as your choice. Boiling point, electron affinity, hardness, if you want to do hardness, density, specific heat. Whatever it is, change this to what that is. And remember, there are units with numbers, so include your units up above.
So we get to pick our own element for the last two?
You don't get to pick your own element. You get to pick your own property. So the property of like boiling point, free melting point, electron affinity, all of those things that you can see on the side of this ptable.com over here, anything that gives you a number, ladies and gentlemen, except for discovered and abundance, you could use for that. Okay? You could use for that. Questions? All right, so we've got about 20-some minutes left to class. You need to get this done today. Okay? You need to get this table filled in today. So again, if you need help, if you have questions, I'll be more than happy to come over and give you a hand. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, get to work on it, please. Get to work on it, please. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ethan, we just started. How do you got a question already?
Yeah, I said yes to if you have any questions, and you just said completely ignored me.
What?
I said yes.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What? I'll be there in a second.
Oh, okay.
Ew.
I thought I had earbuds in for a second because that's what you do whenever you don't have earbuds.
No, I was just trying to ignore you. But you're making it very difficult.
Miss Fran, when you have a moment, there is an urgent email that you need to read.
Okay.
For the unknown thing, the Tennessee.
Yeah.
It says unknown for the
Yep. Whatever you want.
the thingamajiggy.
For the thingamajiggy. What
Yeah.
thingamajiggy?
What it is.
The atomic radius. It says NA.
Okay, again, I told you, if you pick something in that portion of the periodic table, you may not be able to find certain
So I'm
information.
just asking, like, is that the part that I put?
Put NA for. Put NA. Not available. Not available. NA.
Melting point,
Yes.
boiling point.
Yeah, I mean, you can pick any of those. Like I said, I just.
Okay, so do you see where it says energy levels 282?
Like
The very
Do you
last
pick
number.
any from the?
Just the
Well,
two.
you
Just
could,
that
but
last
it
number.
is
That's the main
Does
number.
it hold?
To
Yeah,
have
I did.
numbers for it because it has to be a solid.
Okay,
number.
kind of seen.
Here's the atomic
Yeah.
mass at the bottom. There's the atomic
That's my favorite element. It's named after my favorite city.
So what I, the ones I'm picking are.
Your choice, you pick
And
whatever
ionization.
property you want. So go back to that
Of all the
table.com.
country that's
You
around.
can
Yeah.
put the
Of
electron
these
infinity.
numbers down on the side here,
Electron.
melting point, anything like that.
Polonium.
Any one, look at all three of those.
I mean, you could do density if you wanted. You could do specific heat.
You'd put melting point at the top, under where it says your choice, you get rid of your choice, you put melting point, and then you would put the numbers down below.
You get it?
Two different ones, yes.
Shut up, Kevin.
Yes.
So stupid.
You're.
I want these two.
Oh my
So
god.
just for lithium.
You're gonna make me hair
Just make sure you put it
Okay.
and put it
Units.
Where it says your choice.
Oh, are you?
So up, no, go up in the box that says your choice one and change that to boiling point.
Well, this is crazy.
And then put the
I
unit.
already have three that are not
Which
again.
is degrees Celsius or Kelvin.
How do you know what degree Celsius?
Okay, then put degrees Celsius.
Parenthesis. Now try control and the period key. Type in the letter O.
Atomic number is the top one.
Control.
Words or the actual numbers?
It's not gonna let you do this. So do this. Control or shift
Atomic
and
number.
the caret key. Now do a capital C. And close your parentheses. That'll work. Okay? Alexa, if you agree, Brianna's getting it from Alex, are you helping her? Okay. Open up the atomic trends Google Sheet and I will show you what to do. Take out your periodic table real quick.
So all the ones that have boiling point.
So now you go through each of your elements again and you find the boiling points of each of them.
And write down, put down
And you
the
write down
numbers.
what that number is. So like
Okay.
negative 108.0. That would be the boiling point of xenon.
Okay.
Okay?
That makes sense. Okay.
All right?
So it has to be the same one.
Yeah.
So all this has to be the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why you have to like, instead of having your choice one, you need to put what it is.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Like no one cares. Yes. No.
Alex is doing okay, helping random. Or do you need assistance?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're okay, or yeah, you
No,
need assistance?
oh, never mind. I was good. I just put my information. Yeah, I have.
I can do either one.
Okay. All right. Alexa, are you ready? So here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're working on right now. Okay. So you're going to pick. You're going to pick. Pick me 3 periods of the periodic table from 1 to 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So just put a check mark above any 3 of those periods. Yep. Don't use here and don't use down here. So put a check mark above 3 of them.
Thanks, buddy.
Boundary left side should be the same for each family. If I know you.
So now in this family, put checks by any 3 of the elements. I would maybe avoid this part of the periodic table because these down here, there's not a lot of information about, but if you want to, you can go into them. So put check marks by any 3 of those.
What's up?
Yes.
Okay, so now, you also selected this one, right? So, we're gonna select the same 3 periods in this
Okay,
family.
well, you don't have to
So
do
you
the
gotta
same ones
select
we did.
B, AL, and GA because we selected K, so does that make
Like, you
sense?
can't choose different
So
ones than
put
he did.
checks by
Are
those.
you saying that I can't trust you anymore?
I think that's what you're saying, to do the same for that 3rd. Okay, so
Yeah,
now,
all you have to
in
do is
here,
pick
under element,
one of these 2.
sorry,
These.
start with BE,
You're picking basically
then do B,
3 family, or 3,
nope,
3
Yeah.
periods.
then C.
Sorry, 3 families.
Then
3
come
families.
back here and go with MG,
And then, so like if you, so
And
like I
AL.
pick lithium. So then I have to pick lithium and then 2 more down
then
this
come
row.
back and we do CA, GA, and GE.
So like that.
So what we've done is we've
The same ones
taken
as
3
Alex, if you want.
samples
otherwise
of
you
elements
pick
that are
one.
going to be in the same families,
And then just keep going
and 3 that
when
are
you
going
get
to
to
be in the
here,
same period.
make sure
And
you
we're gonna
actually
start
like
looking
change
at
it,
some
tell us
trends.
what it is.
Okay? So open up a new tab.
Did you pick which ones you're doing yet?
Okay, got the ptable.com. Okay, now, go to your first element, which is BE.
You can
Click
call
on
my
Okay.
Okay,
So
go back
now
to
go
table.
back to that table.
So
Yeah.
We need to find
any
atomic
of
radius,
these, and there's,
atomic mass,
so you can pick
atomic
any of
number,
those.
valence electron, and then you get to choose 2 that you want to do.
Right.
So go back to
So,
ptable.com.
like I did melting point
So
and
you see here where
ionization.
it says radius,
How
that
many
number,
times
112
did I
PM,
point on this?
that's
You know
the
what, at the
radius
same
of that atom.
You know, so maybe
That's
do
number you
melting
type
point
in.
and electronic
Okay.
activity. You
Down
know, or
below here
boiling point
is the
and
atomic
specific
mass.
heat.
9.122.
Says on there. Okay? Just
And
make
up
sure you
above at the
change
top
your choice
is the
to
atomic
whatever it
number,
was.
which is
So you know
4.
what?
Yes.
That's where you get all that information. You see where it says energy level.
I saw Ethan's hand first, so I'm just coming in here
That's
first.
here.
What's up?
That's the electrons.
Okay.
So that
You
might be a bunch
Any
of numbers,
clue
but the last
As
of
of
those
to
numbers,
what the
that's the valence
little
electron.
brackets mean
Okay?
for the atomic number.
So start by filling that in. Okay? When you're done and you get to your choice, call me back and I'll show you what to do there. Okay?
Mr. Bird, so we
Yes.
could do the heat
No, we need to
specific.
put it down.
Yes.
Just with the brackets.
Definitely.
Are
Definitely.
you gonna be able to find? Did you?
I just want to make sure that.
That's okay.
It's,
It is what it is. Some of them he's not gonna have
What
because
does the
he
brackets
chose them.
mean, is what he's asking.
What are the brackets?
Yeah, on the periodic table.
Okay, what's up?
There's
So,
no brackets in here?
That means it's an estimated mass because they don't know the exact mass because they're too new. So that is an estimated mass.
So the energy
wouldn't the valence electron be the same for each family?
should go here.
Well, is that what you found?
This way or should have removed the last one?
Sure doesn't look that way to me, Zoe, because the yellow boxes are all 2s, the blue boxes are all 6, and the green boxes are all 8.
So go back to P table,
And that is what we learned before, right?
Right.
Should have-
whatever
You're
the
good.
last
So
number
that
is.
should be all the same.
And it is. It is. But remember, the yellow, and yellow are the same family.
Right, and they should have the
Blue,
same
blue, good, and they
valence
come out to be that way.
electron. Same valence electron.
Okay, go back to P table. Pick 2 of these, whichever 2 you want,
So.
just not ones we
Yes,
already
take
have on
the
the
unit
table.
and put it up by density.
So you do your boiling point.
Okay, you
You already have
can't
it.
in this. So use the caret key and then the 3.
And when you
So do
boil it,
KM. I know, that's the one thing I hate about Google. Is you can make that in a document, but yet in their
because which
table,
ones do you have? You
they
have
don't let you
oxygen,
use the
that's
same
gas, so
shortcuts
that's
to format
really
the
not gonna have a
text.
density.
Did you have a
You
question?
know, there's specific
Oh,
heat, no, there's specific heat, there's electronegativity, there's ionization.
So pick something that's other than
Yeah. But like discovered, you can't do because it's not really gonna be something that's gonna help you. So go through and see if you can figure out 2 and I'll come back and check.
I appreciate that. Okay, don't put PM, because here's the thing, if you put letters and numbers together, it's not gonna be able to graph. And we have that up above there where it says PM, so you don't have to worry about it, okay? Okay? Can I look at this? What am I looking at?
So I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. So for the specific heat for because I tried copying and pasting.
Okay.
it.
Okay, so let me show you a little trick. Oh. When you're copy and pasting, if when you get in the box that you're going to paste in, if you do Control Shift and V, it will keep the formatting of where you're pasting it, rather than the formatting of where you got it from.
Yeah, I just normally highlight it and then just like.
Right, but like if you're taking out of a document, it'll use the font and the stuff from the document, not the font and the stuff from the table that you're going into. So if you do Control and Shift and V, it'll format it in whatever the box that you're going into. So to keep the background and keep the different
And not
fonts
turn
and things.
white.
And not turn white, yes. Now, again, it isn't that big a deal, but we made the table that way so that you could see the different things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like embedded.
But they wanted us to bring 6 laps.
Yeah.
Which I would have done, right? Yeah. But then they wanted to add the pictures. I said, I don't know about that one. So we did like 3 laps, and then we were just like through shit as hell. We were like, no, I'm not doing
On
that.
table.com.